Free agency starts tonight, Spurs fans. Will we sign? Should we sign? Could we sign? A big. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Caught an article from Pounding the Rock this morning talking about free agent big men that are available if we're not able to get Guerschon Yabusele or Luke Kornet. I'm going to go over the players in the article, but while I'm doing so, I'm going to give my thoughts on whether I think we should pursue the player or not. Of course, if you'd like to follow along and give your comments and drop them down below, do so as well. I'm just messing this whole sentence up. Let's get into the article from Pounding the Rock. If San Antonio strikes out on Kornet or Yabusele, they should kick the tires, word that a little better, on this group of players. Other backup options, Day'Ron Sharpe, Chris Boucher, Larry Nance Jr., and Kevon Looney. Starting off with Sharpe. Sharpe is not a floor spacer, but he's one of the league's best backup bigs. He's an awesome offensive rebounder, grabbing 3 a game. He defends the paint at a high level. He's only 24 years old. However, the catch is that Sharpe is a restricted free agent, which means the Brooklyn Nets could potentially match any offer the Spurs could make. So with Sharpe, I have some injury concerns with him. He's missed a lot of time in the last few years, but he is only 24, and he is girthy. He's 6'9", which is not the ideal height for a backup big. And so a lot of these guys on this are under 7 foot, but he is 265 pounds and does have a 7-foot wingspan. He kind of falls under my worst case scenario. If the Nets don't try to sign a matchmaker setter, if we can get him on the cheap, maybe there's some potential there at only 24, but the lengthy injury history is a concern. Sometimes the best ability is availability. Moving down the list, we have Larry Nance Jr., who I didn't know at one time had like a 44 or 45-inch vertical. He could jump out of the gym, if you will. Nance Jr. is one of the most underrated bench bigs in the NBA. When healthy, that's not what you'd like to see about a player evaluation. He's a plus defender who can knock down 40% of his threes. He's a steady hand you can plug in for 18 to 20 minutes a night. Nance Jr., I would label him injury prone, 33 next season. I'm kind of unknown this, guys. Maybe you disagree. Would certainly like to see your thoughts on him, but an older player that's got a lengthy injury history, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze there. Boucher experienced a return to form last season, averaging 10 points and 4.5 rebounds while shooting 36% from deep. He's also a decent rim protector at 6'9". Yes, another 6'9" guy. He's also a 2-time NBA champion. I'm not feeling Chris Boucher, so I went with the no. Up next, Kevon Looney. He's a well-known commodity thanks to his role as a bruiser on the Golden State Warriors over the years. Somehow he's still only 29. He's been around a while, meaning he fit the Spurs timeline. He'd give him a big, strong interior defender who can do damage offensively as a screener and finisher at the rim. Kevon Looney, what's better than a 2-time champion, a 3-time champion. My man Looney Tunes is 6'9", so another 6'9" guy, 220 pounds. He does have a 7'4" wingspan, and he is a small ball center, no surprise, playing with the Golden State Warriors. That being said, I would prefer him as backup center than center Sohan, center Barnes, and my Lanta, center Kelvin. No, I do not want to see any of those 3 playing center next year. If possible, it's out of position. We're not putting those players in the best position to succeed, and the opposing team probably going to be taking advantage of those smaller guys. Looney is a very good rebounder, and I thought he was injury prone, but he's actually been fairly healthy. In the last 4 seasons, he only missed 14 games total, including 2 out of the last 4 he played all 82 games. They mentioned he'll be 29 next season. Looks like his contract would probably be, somewhere between $8 to $10 million a year. Yeah, I'd say get him. If we can't get Yabusele or Kornet, sure. Thing is, guys, I don't know if he'd want to leave Golden State. 10 years there, 3 titles, the team that drafted him. Is Golden State going to want to move away from him? He's been a pretty rock solid for them. We'll see what happens, but for me, this is a yes. This is an absolute yes. If we can take Looney Tunes from the Warriors, and I don't mean that as an insult, just, Looney Tunes, the cartoon. Okay, you get it. All right, depth pieces for the biannual exception or vet minimum. We've got Mason Plumlee, Isaiah Jackson, Thomas Bryant, Tony Bradley, and Paul Reed. First one up, Mason Plumlee. Plumlee played in 74 games for the Phoenix Suns last season. I forgot he was with the Suns. He's moved around a lot. But he wasn't incredibly productive. He's still a decent defender going into his age 35 season, but his days of being an impact player are likely over. No, not for me. Next. Jackson, Bryant, and Bradley all spent time as a Pacers backup center this season. I was kind of shocked. I didn't realize when I was reading this article initially, I'm like, we took 3 players from the Pacers? Okay. With Jackson providing the most potential. However, after a torn Achilles, torn or ruptured? Do they tear or they rupture? Whatever team signs him will be taking on injury risk. Bryant and Bradley are big bodies, going to be death pieces, but were clearly outmatched by the Oklahoma City Thunder's BIGS in the NBA Finals. So right there, that's a massive red flag for me. The team that could be our future rival for the next decade, these backup guys got outmatched. The injury with Jackson, the torn Achilles, if you get it, you get it. No. The Pacers guys, for all 3, I'm just going to say no. I'm not feeling it. Paul Reed. Could be a cheaper, interesting swing if the Spurs are looking for depth. He's an impact defender who hasn't found a consistent role in the NBA. There's a lot of talent to be tapped here. San Antonio could be that spot. I'm kind of a no on this one, although his nickname, B-Ball Paul, let's come on, let's be honest. That would be a lot of fun to say during games, so that intrigues me right there. This would be a worst case scenario. I would have, as the players mentioned, Looney first, Sharp second, and then Reed a distant third. Why are there San Antonio Spurs guys on the thumbnail? Well, they are free agents, so we have to take into consideration the fact the Spurs may or may not re-sign our own guys. And those 3 guys are Charles Bassey, Bismack Biyombo, and Sandro Mamukelashvili. Biyombo was solid for San Antonio in a time of desperation. He was effectively the only center on the roster. He was in the last quarter of the season. Bassey has talent, but he's inconsistent and unfortunately injury-prone. Mamu is a fun offensive player and locker room staple, but his defense limits his ability to stay on the court. All right, first up, Charles Bassey. I don't say this to be rude, but I've called his knee a noodle knee. Essentially, it's fragile. I can't remember if it's his left one or right one, but he's had 2 fractured patellas, a torn ACL, 2 season-ending injuries with the Spurs. Last year, he barely played at the end of the season due to left knee issues, or right knee, and he's never played more than a half a season. He's never made it to 41 games. At some point, you have to move on. And Charles is probably one of the funnest shot blockers in the league that I've watched, because when he blocks a shot, he doesn't just block the shot, he sends it into the stands. It's gone. But he can't stay healthy. And if you can't be on the court, you're not helping the team. And having to take up a roster spot and salary cap and constantly not being able to play, we have to move on. Will he get a chance somewhere else? I don't know. I think right now he's in improvement mode if the Spurs bring him back, or to any team that he can make it to at least 65 games at this point. Up next, Biyombo. You know what? If we have an open roster spot, sure. A professional came off. He wasn't even playing basketball. Wasn't any type of basketball. Came in and did an admirable job as a backup and starter. Seemed to have a good attitude. Yeah, if we have an open roster spot and need, again, another guy that's 6'8", 6'9", with a huge wingspan. Prefer to get an actual 7-footer, but if we're in a pinch, sure. And last but not least, Mamu. I think he's leaving. I think he's going to go overseas. From what you guys are saying, it sounds like with the opportunity, I forgot what the name of the team is overseas, but if he gets the chance, I think he's gone. All right, Spurs fans, that's the roundup. Free agency starts tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. I will be live for it. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not sure how I'm going to follow it. There's live trackers. I'm thinking it might just be best to kind of have a situation where I'm right here, where I'm down in the corner, and we just pull up Sham's Twitter feed. If news is going to break, Shams is going to have it up first, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Will we see the Spurs in there? I don't know. I plan on going live for an hour, 2 hours, maybe, depending on, interest from you guys. If we're having fun, chatting Spurs and seeing the free agent move, then I'll stay alive longer. We'll just play it by ear. But comment down below. Out of everybody we talked about, including our own Spurs players, which guy would you want the most if we can get him? Looney? Bassey, Nance, Plumlee. Very curious to your thoughts. Hit the TSR Sports channel and subscribe to become part of our awesome Spurs community. Can't wait to see you tonight. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.